Do you want to get your first push-up? Let me show you how to build strength, specifically how you achieve your very first push-up to the ground. The same principles apply to all strength training, so even if you're already doing regular push-ups, look at part 2 and part 3 about the technique for any upper body pushing movement and strength training principles in general. Here's the exact progression for getting your first push-up to the ground. Part 1 is the push-up program. We do wall push-ups and push-ups to box. And why to a box and not to your knees? There's 2 reasons for that. And the reason 1 is posture. You keep a better posture and full plank position if you do push-ups to a box or any elevation like a sturdy couch. The plank position will serve you later when you do normal push-ups also. And reason 2 is progressive. You can change the elevation of a box. Your knees stay the same length. So when you're stronger, you can take a lower elevation and the movement becomes harder. And when you're starting out, you can pick a high box in order to do the whole range of motion. While this might have been challenging with your push-ups on the knees at the start. We'll do 4 rounds of 10 repetitions. A round is a set of strength drill. If we're doing strict strength, you want to rest 60 to 120 seconds between each set so that you get rid of the fatigue from the previous set. A repetition is a movement like the push-up, when you start from straight arms and turn around when your chest hits the box, or at least when you hit 90 degrees with your elbows. Progress. When you make 10 repetitions at any progression without pausing, try the next step. Let's go deeper on a lower box. And keep track of your results on a notebook. It could be electronic or analog, whatever works for you, as long as you have a scorecard. And that way you don't have to remember the weight or the progression that you did last week. We'll do 4 rounds. It's a good number for starting strength. Later you might work up to 100 repetitions of the movement you want to strengthen each week by doing different movements or same muscle groups by increasing rounds and sets. But if you're just starting out, 4 times 10 repetitions each week will give you exactly what you need. Part 2, upper body pushing strength. Upper body pushing movements use the chest, the shoulders and the triceps and hinge around the shoulder joint. The shoulder can push in 3 directions or 180 degrees if you will. So we have dips and push downwards, bench presses that push horizontally and shoulder presses that push vertically. Dips and bench presses use the pectoral muscle and triceps, and shoulder presses and narrow bench presses use more shoulders and triceps. A new athlete I had in class last night was telling me his shoulders were hurting when he raised his elbow and showed the shoulder blade rolling forward. I asked him if it still hurt when he pulled back the shoulder joint behind the ear, and he said much less. So we have active shoulders. Keeping tension in the shoulder joint gives you stability and usually minimizes hurt or injury. You do this by squeezing the back of your shoulders, which moves your elbows closer to each other. Flaring out with the elbows sideways usually means loose shoulders, i.e. lack of tension. Also avoid shrugging. Think that the tip of your shoulder blade is pulled down towards the hips. Midline stability. Keep your plank position tight. Do not slouch with the lower back and do not bend at the hip in order to make the push-up easier for the shoulders. If you make it easier by compensating with the hips, your pushing strength won't grow as fast. Bending at the hip makes it easier to make the push-up, but it also makes the movement less efficient, sort of. Effective grip. For a push-up, spread out your fingers and keep the forearms at 90 degrees to the movement. Keep your forearms vertical to your movement. In a push-up, your arms are immediately up from the ground or at 90 degrees from your spine. It changes a little bit when you're in a box, but the same principle applies. If you're bench pressing, same principle. Keep the forearm bone immediately underneath the barbell and vertical to gravity. Wider arm position or grip in push-ups and bench presses work the pectoral muscle more, and narrower grip works the shoulders more. Part 3, strength training progressions. To really own a movement, you need to focus on 3 things before the weight you can lift. Control points. This can be feel and stimulus. Number 1 is movement quality. How good was a rep? This is also called technique. This one is tricky in the beginning, so it helps to have a coach to watch your form or to video yourself at an angle where you can see your shoulders and elbows and perhaps lower back. Can you keep a good position in all 3? Number 2 is tempo. You'll go 2 or 3 seconds negatives. For extra focus, even 5 seconds. You're stronger if you can perform a strength movement slower, especially on the way down. The negative phase of the movement, where we resist gravity, is the place where we're most efficiently building strength. This is true for the slow lifts or absolute strength. With explosive movements, it's the opposite. But those build on having absolute strength first and then trimming that strength. And then 3 is rate of perceived effort. Aim for 8 or 9 out of 10. Intensity can be felt. So if it feels fairly easy, then try to push the envelope with slower speed or heavier weight and focus on full contraction of the muscle. And then lastly, number 4 is load. That's the weight we usually measure, but think of weight as the tip of the iceberg when we're talking about strength training. It's the result at the end of the chain. If you found this helpful, then subscribe for more, because next week we'll talk about weight loss.